My gaming life sucks ass, and it's not because I hadn't tracked absolutely every game I played in 2024 and made a video about it like everyone else.
What I played in 2024. What I played in 2024.
From worrying about my backlog a bit too much, to downloading every new game just to benchmark it, gaming is slowly but surely starting to overwhelm me, and also every aspect of my life. So I decided to put a spandex on and be a hero to save my own day. To make this here a W and not an L, I need to turn this gaming life into a gaming wife? I'll split this video into 3 smaller W's I need to achieve in order to ascend to a state of gaming zen, at least in theory. Why, where, when, and lastly, you cannot win without a horse in your race, so the most important part will be how I will manage to do it. So make sure you stick around until the end. So let's repeat it all together. W, 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 H. I know it sounds like a wrestling federation, but let's just roll with it for a moment. And also, if I motivate at least one of you to try to do the same thing, then I'll consider this video a massive success, as we will be able to share our insights towards the end of the year and whether we feel better about our gaming lives or not. Among the 4 pillars of reaching this gaming zen, the first one is why I'm doing all this. I started my YouTube channel a year ago, and looking back on the videos I made, I've realized more than half of my videos had been kind of negative. You know, talking about dropping games, how we violate games, why we shouldn't pre-order games, and more often than not, I thought those were good topics that would attract attention and spark a conversation, not realizing that I viewed gaming in general in a very negative light. It still is my favorite hobby, therefore I want to share my love for it, not raise awareness for things most already know are wrong with the industry. I'll say I'm pretty self-aware with these things. I know I'm having a hard time sticking with one game at a time, whether it be short or long. I'm having a hard time immersing with the story, characters, and the world itself, although I can get really attached to the gameplay itself. I'm having a hard time not thinking about games 24/7. This is the biggest reason I'm doing all this. Everyone around me knows me as the guy who loves games, as the guy who gets really bubbly when games are mentioned, but at the same time, I cannot afford games to consume my life because there is a lot more to life than playing games. And this is why I want to continue playing games, but make a healthier approach that will make me stay in the moment, no matter what I do, playing games or not. The second pillar is where, and I feel this one is especially important for those who don't have much free time and are buried in responsibilities. Personally, some days I don't arrive home until 9 p.m. and then I only have an hour or 2 to play before going to bed. If, and a big if, I have the energy, focus, and desire to play. Given my borderline obsession with games, in an ideal world I could play games wherever I want as long as I have the least bit of free time, right? Well, just because I could, doesn't mean I should. Let me explain. I own a Nintendo Switch OLED and recently I put it up for sale. And let me tell you, I love this toy. I love this toy so much, and I think it's a technological marvel with the amount of games you could play on it with a great battery life and great comfort. But in the previous year, I played it only when I was out of town, which happens like once every month. And if I was home, I'd rather play on a bigger screen and with better image quality, so my go-to system was either my PC or my PS5. I also considered buying a Steam Deck for its versatility and seamless transitioning between playing on it and my desktop PC, but since I mostly game at home, I just prefer sitting on my chair and playing in higher fidelity and better performance. Not only that, but I would probably force myself to play it even when I don't feel like it, just so I could justify my purchase, and trust me, it ain't cheap. So my conclusion is I should play games only at home where I can fully commit to them, not rush games because I have limited time out of town. And don't get me wrong, I've had tons of fun playing in handheld mode. I just feel like some games were left underappreciated because of my tendency to rush them, because I felt like I won't have the desire to play them next to my PC and my PS5. And also, I'm not saying this pillar should apply to everyone, as I know many people game and work on the same desktop setups, so after work they can barely stand sitting in front of the same screen to indulge in their favorite pastime, but for this type of folks, handheld gaming might be the way to go, and I think this type of audience is making handheld gaming expand as fast as it is right now. The third pillar is when, and basically this one is very closely intertwined with the previous one. Having free time to play doesn't necessarily mean it is time to play. There are times when I feel like I want to watch or listen to a YouTube video, but I feel like it's a waste of time to give it 100% of my attention, so I fire up a game to play alongside it. Or sometimes I spend time with my family, and here I am playing games on my Switch while giving my divided attention to the people I care about. So as a result, the primary task, which would be spending time with my family or watching a YouTube video, and playing games, both suffer because I cannot wholeheartedly commit to either. My gaming ventures have long stopped going past midnight, and nowadays, more often than not, by the time it's 11 PM, my gaming beasts had already been switched off and put to rest. I feel like choosing my time to play will affect how much I enjoy playing games immensely, but then again, this is just an uneducated guess of mine, and we'll see about that. Which brings us to the final pillar, how I will do all this. Pause this video right now and write in the comments below in what ways you think I can fix my gaming life per se, and after you're done, keep watching. I set some rules for myself. Rule number 1. No online competitive games, at least not ones where you can grind ranks. So, no more League, no more Dota, and no more Deadlock. I feel like I really enjoy playing those, but I'm not committed enough to sit down and actually study them. And not only that, but I also feel guilty while playing them. Guilty that I'm not playing a single player game that I could cross off my backlog, have tons of footage of, and make a video on. I will, however, allow myself to play an online shooter or online co-op game, as shooters help me relieve stress sometimes, and co-op games can still be completed, so I will still feel some sense of progression. Rule number 2. I will play games only at home, without any distractions and multitasking. The only multitasking I'll be doing is making notes on games that I might want to use for a video. Now I know, I'm making this sound like some kind of chore with a bunch of rules, but I'm doing this to myself, not you, so no worries. Rule number 3. When it comes to playing single player games, I will exclusively play, wait for it, RPGs, at least for the first 6 months.
No, you can't do this, sir. That's insanity.
Yes, I can, and I will. So why on earth would I do this to myself? Will I go insane by the end of this year? Well, I got a couple good reasons. First, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming out on PC, so I pre-ordered the game and I decided my year will start with a banger. Second, I have tons of RPGs in my backlog, and there are tons more that are kind of RPGs but not in everyone's eyes, like Kingdom Hearts or Cyberpunk and some other games that I also wanted to try. And the third and the most important reason why I will play RPGs only is because they're vast. They have long, exhausting stories that introduce a gazillion characters throughout. There are no better games to stay in the moment than those, to immerse yourself, to learn to live in their worlds, to learn to love and hate the characters, the nooks and crannies of hubs that those NPCs populate. I will focus on the story. I'll read the lore on the internet if there are bits that I don't understand. I will inhabit those worlds. And also I can play Path of Exile 2, and trust me, this game is crazy good. Rule number 4. There will be only one single player game installed on every machine I play on. So I don't scratch the itch to jump from one game to another, I will have only one single player game installed at a time. Fifth and the most important rule is I will fix my gaming life by simply not playing games. I know what it sounds like, but just hear me out. As I mentioned before, my mind is always scattered all over the place thinking about what I'm going to play and when I'm going to play, and then other activities suffer. I have tons of books and mangas that are stacked and waiting for me. TV shows, anime, movies as well. There are tons of unexplored interests that simply I didn't give enough time to. I want to ride more. Not a horse, not a bicycle, a motorcycle. Big, bad, on a racetrack, hell yeah. No, not that kind of motorcycle. I've bought a motorcycle almost 3 years ago, and I can tell you what a great way it is to stay in the moment. It's not the safest means of transportation out there, but that's exactly why you have to be in an alert state at all times. But once you get used to it, it is very relaxing and very fun. The year just started and I caught a nasty stomach bug, so even my introverted ass has been staying at home way too much. But once that blows over, there's so many adventures out there that don't require me to press a button, and I'm very excited for that. I want to play less, but play more. Thank you for being here. If you've enjoyed the video, please leave a like, click that subscribe button and notification bell, and let me know in the comments which things make you feel happy about your gaming life and which don't, how you would approach those, and whether you will attempt something similar to what I talked about here. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.